Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Last First Date Radio, featuring interviews with experts in dating, relating, and mating in midlife. And now, here's your host, Sandy Weiner.
Hello there, this is Sandy, and I am the dating and love coach for women over 40 at lastfirstdate.com. Welcome to Last First Date Radio. We are the premier show about attracting and sustaining healthy relationships after 40. Every week I bring you in-depth interviews with top experts and cutting-edge authors in the field of dating and relationships after 40. Today I'm going to be speaking with therapist and relationship coach Kate Ferrick. We're going to be talking about the 6 love styles. What are they, and how can you use them to help you succeed at dating and relationships? I'm really excited about this topic because my whole goal as a dating coach is to help you succeed at dating and find that healthy, lasting, loving relationship that you want. And unfortunately, there's a lot of really bad dating advice out there, and it tells you that you have to be something that you're not in order to attract love, and actually the opposite is true. Really want to hone in on who you are at your best and really your special superpowers, not trying to look like somebody, compare and despair. You know, I wish my butt was smaller, I was more toned, and if only I was thinner, I would get the guy, you know, smarter, wittier, whatever it is. That is not what's going to get you the guy. What's going to get you the guy is really working on some of your patterns, really uncovering the mistakes that you may have been making in the past, which is something we're going to talk about today, and really bringing your depth to dating, connecting deeply one-on-one with the right man. Every week I bring you a tip on how to be a woman of value. So today's tip is do not settle. And boy, I was a queen of settling, so I speak from experience that when I got married, I really had given up on ever finding what I wanted, and so I settled for a man that had some of the qualities I was looking for, but he was missing many of the qualities that were important to me, but I didn't believe that existed. So I want you to come from a place of abundance and not scarcity. You're not running out of men. You're not running out of time. I mean, we all are running out of time on some level, but if you're dating because you're afraid, then your fear and love don't coexist very well. So please don't settle. Please know that you are worth it, and you will find the love that you want if you continue on this path. I also want to encourage you to go over to my website, lastfirstdate.com, and sign up for my free guide if you want to know why men continue to disappear. And trust me, this happens no matter how amazing you are. It just happened to me, and he actually reappeared. And so what do you do? This is one of the most commonly asked questions. So please go to lastfirstdate.com and sign up. And finally, I also want to send an invitation to all the single ladies out there who are over 40 to please join my private Facebook group. It's called Your Last First Date, and it is growing every day. We're over 800 women, and it is a positive place for support. Many places that you go online where you find a group, it's just a place to have a bitch fest and just say, oh, men are horrible. This dating sucks. Oh, I'd rather get a cat and, live in my house and never, date again. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be in a place where you get positive support. I'm on that page quite often, and it's a great way to connect. So it's Your Last First Date on Facebook. Okay, and now my special guest today. I'm really excited that Dr. Kate Ferrick is joining us from California. She's a relationship coach. She is a woman with a PhD in psychology, and she focuses on the psychology of romantic love. She has been conducting counseling and assessment sessions for the past 10 years. She's successfully worked with single clients all over the United States, and she's been researching romantic relationships for the past 6.5 years to see what makes a relationship successful. She does workshops for singles in Southern California, and she's been interviewed on many radio shows regarding her findings on romantic love. And we are excited to have her talk about these 6 love styles with us today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Kate.
Thank you, Sandy. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, wonderful. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about love styles. So first, let's just define what is a love style.
Okay, well, a love style is an attitude towards romance or an intimate relationship, and the 6 love styles were developed by a sociologist called John Allen Lee in the early 70s, and the reason why he developed these 6 attitudes towards romantic love is because often it's very confusing out there. You meet someone and their idea of romantic love is very different from what yours is. And so the 6 love styles are a way of having categories and making it more transparent and easier to determine what type of love style you are, what type of love style they are, and then going from there and seeing if there's a compatibility on that level.
So you want to know, first understand the other person's love style and your own and see if you're compatible.
Yes, absolutely. The research shows that couples who are the same dominant love style are going to be happier. And as I go through the 6, there's one love style that you definitely want to avoid dating the person if they are this love style. And then there's also another love style. If you are looking for a long-term relationship or marriage, then that would be definitely one to avoid.
Okay, so not the player and the one who's who's just out for casual sex, I'm assuming. We'll get into it. So let's talk about each of the 6 love styles. Let's go through it.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, let's start with one that is most prevalent in the movies and television, and they all have funny Greek names. So this is called Eros. And this is a style that's best described as passionate love. The person usually has a physical ideal of what they want their partner to look like. If you ask them, what kind of partner do you want, they'll say, someone who's very passionate, blonde hair, green eyes, 5'10". So they'll give you a description because they already have an ideal in mind. And for these individuals, love at first sight is very possible, and they want intimacy right away from the beginning of the relationship. So it's very much they meet, and there's a very high level of attraction there. The relationship's usually highly emotional and very intense, but they don't go to the obsessive level, and they don't get overly jealous. An example of this would be, pretty much most television shows or movies, how they portray romantic love, so Pretty Woman or recent movie Passengers, and, the typical falling in love scenario, that would be what Eros would be.
So what's interesting is you said that they're not obsessive and not jealous, but it feels like this is love bombing. Like you come on strong, you're giving all these words of affirmation and oh my God, you're amazing, you're the love I always wanted. That sounds like a lot of projection. You obviously don't know somebody when you first meet them. So it sounds like this type would often be obsessive or jealous.
Well, the obsessive is actually described in my next love style I'm going to talk about. So this wouldn't be to the point of you need a restraining order.
Okay.
type obsessive. There might be a mild, case of obsessiveness or jealousy there, but it's not going to turn into, Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction.
Okay. All right, so let's go to the next one. We'll see.
Okay, well, the next one then is called mania, and this is obsessive, jealous, very emotional love style, sometimes maybe erratic emotional love style. And these types of lovers, they're very insecure, and they often fear they're going to give too much and it won't be reciprocated by their lover. They like to spend, a lot of time with their lovers and want a lot of attention and affection. And, the example of Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction really fits his love style to a T. So, this would be a love style, I would say, if you find somebody and they fit in this category, I would say avoiding it would be a very good idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's, what's interesting though is, this is to an extreme, but women often give too much at the beginning of a relationship. Not in this at this level, but they often give and then regret it because they're not getting back what they want. So. Would you say that that's part of the mania profile, or is that more just like a female conditioning thing?
Well, it's all a matter of degrees, Sandy. So, it could be part of the more female conditioning thing. I think the mania is, in the extreme level. So if it's a mild case of giving too much, a mania example would be like, if they don't return my love, I'm going to die. It's very extreme. So in terms of women giving too much at the beginning of a relationship, my advice would be relationships are about giving and receiving. And if a woman's giving, and there's no space for the man to give, then it blocks that cycle and the flow of giving and receiving. So it's definitely not a good thing, because you're blocking the opportunity for the man to give to you, which is important for him to be able to give and receive.
Correct. Yeah, I know. I totally agree with that. I was just wondering if this mania has anything to do with that, but it doesn't sound like it. Okay, so let's go to number 3.
Okay, number 3 is Ludus, and it's a game-playing love.
Ludus?
Oh, Ludus.
Okay.
Yeah, Ludus. So it's a game-playing type of love, and these type of lovers, they like to have, 2 or 3 partners at the same time, and they like a lot of variety in their partners, and they actually believe you can love 2 or 3 people simultaneously. They're not overly emotional, and their relationships don't get serious, and they try not to spend too much time with one person, and they really avoid commitment. So if you're looking for a long-term relationship or marriage, then I'd say, if you find someone and they're showing these attributes of a Ludus love style, then I'd say they're not the one for you.
That's true.
A good example would be Samantha in Sex and the City.
Samantha was the blonde, right?
Yeah, she was the older of the 4 friends, and she always had different lovers and never really committed to anybody.
Yeah, so she liked the variety and the, not lack of commitment, although she did get involved with that guy, that really cute guy. But then she ended up leaving him. Okay, so, again, we're not changing people. So once we go through this, I'm just curious, another question just popped into my head, that are people usually the same type of lover all their lives, or can you go from one style to another?
That's a good question, and there hasn't been a whole lot of research done in terms of following people over, decades and then, seeing if they change. But what I would say is that, there is opportunity for change, like in any area or most areas of, a person's life, that personal growth work can lead to changes, and it might not happen overnight, but if someone really wants to change and puts the effort in, then I'd say yes, it is possible. Yeah,
no, I would think that in most of these cases, that if you have been in relationships and you are the mania type, and you realize it's not getting you the kind of relationship that you want, then you become more self-reflective and go through therapy or coaching, or even the ludus type. Like, you can realize that all this fun is not fun anymore because now you're 65 and you're tired of running around and you actually want commitment and intimacy. So I can imagine that if you have some kind of wake-up call, that you might put the effort into finding out why you're in this loop and get out of it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's very possible, and like you said, people put the effort in, and then results do happen.
Mhm. Okay, so let's do number 4.
Okay, number 4 is pragma, Pragma. Sounds like pragmatic, and it's described as a practical or shopping list love. So these type of lovers seek compatibility in terms of social and personal qualities. They want someone of a certain religion, education, lifestyle. So it might be like they want someone who's a lawyer and from a good family and, likes to ski. So it's like they have a shopping list, and that's how they go out, and they will check off, a person to see if they fit their shopping list. And it's not an emotional type of love. It'll be more that they want someone that is well suited for them on a number of characteristics before they become intimate or committing to that person.
Mhm.
So a good example of this would probably be Charlotte in Sex and the City.
Okay. So she was the type who went out to seek a man who was of character and whatever she was looking for. She actually ended up with somebody who was the opposite religion, who was not her religion, and she converted to Judaism. Boy, this is bringing back so many memories. I've seen Sex in the City in years. But they ended up on the same page, I guess. So that would be somebody who would end up being she was looking for, right?
Mhm. Yeah. So she, in that relationship, she changed her religion to match his, and therefore she, they were matching. So that worked in terms of general lifestyle factors. So it was very practical of her to do that.
Okay. And is this love style? Does this lead to a lot more success in relationships than some of the others?
Well, in terms of successful couples, the love styles that are related to satisfaction in couples are actually, we're about to get to one of them, but we've already done Eros. So Eros definitely relates to satisfaction in couples. And the other one is the next one I'm going to talk about, which is Storge, Storge, or friendship love. And these type of lovers place a heavy value on companionship and stability. And love can happen in time after friendship has existed. So when Harry met Sally, they were friends for like 3/4 of the movie, and then right at the end, they got together in a romantic sense. So these type of lovers are intimate, sharing activities and common interests, and physical attraction is not as important, but common interests are very much the attraction.
Mhm. Okay.
So in terms of what love styles relate to satisfaction with couples, Eros and Storge, or friendship love, consecutively relate to satisfaction. So having the aspect of that deep friendship and also having the physical attraction and passion, those two relate very highly to satisfaction. That would be like an ideal.
Yeah, so what a lot of people ask, can friendship really become love, and is it worth the risk of taking a friendship to that level? And It's interesting. This came up in my group recently as a question, and I do know I had a client once who was contemplating about whether to date her best friend, and I talked to her about it for a bit, just really asking her what's at risk if you don't ask, and what's, you're in love with this guy, if you lose the friendship, how would you feel about it, and all this stuff. Anyway, she ended up marrying him. They have 2 kids together, and they're very happy. So I think ideally it could be a tricky place, the friendship, because it could also be without physical attraction, which helps you to become a friend in the first place. And so, if you're too familiar, there's no push and pull in terms of attraction. So, having that attraction and the balance of the eros sounds like it's a really important piece here.
Yes, absolutely, and I agree with everything you said about, the risk of dating someone who's a close friend of the opposite sex. If it doesn't work out, you may lose the friendship, and that could be a very big loss in your life. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely things to weigh up. But like I said, ideally, if you have the eros and the passion, and you have, someone you can talk to, that would be ideal. That would be really great.
Yeah, that would be. Okay, so what's number 6?
Okay, number 6 is agape, A-G-A-P-E, sorry. And this is a altruistic or selfless love, and it's the most rare love style. It's not commonly found. And the agapic lover believes in giving love because everyone's deserving of it, and they feel it's their duty to love and not to expect anything in return, and they want to take care of their partners, and they'll endure a lot of difficulty that arises from being with their partner just because they feel it's their duty to love. A movie example would be Forrest Gump. Forrest and Jenny. Forrest loved Jenny, and Jenny put him through his paces, certainly. So it was definitely him holding out for her and loving her throughout those years in a definitely a selfless, agapic way.
Sounds like codependency to me. No, seriously. I mean, this, is it really selfless? And, or is it just really unhealthy because of something that happens in childhood that teaches you that love isn't reciprocal?
Right. Well, those are definitely good points. And in my own research into psychology of romantic love, I actually use the love styles in the form I've been talking about, the 6 love styles, and found that the individuals that were an agape love style, they actually wanted someone who was also agape, but they wanted someone who was more selfless than themselves.
Okay, let's have a selfless duel.
Yes, exactly. So that was actually a very interesting and funny finding.
Yeah. So let's talk about the practicality and the application in dating.
Yes.
Or relationships. So so say you meet somebody and you now know your love style, right? So I guess that's step number 1. So just take us through the process of how these might be applied.
Okay, absolutely. So first of all, identify yourself within these 6 love styles. And remember, you can have 1 or 2 dominant love styles. So you might want, like we were talking about before, the friendship and the physical attraction, someone you can talk to and be, physically passionate with. So that's quite common to have, more than 1, probably 2, and then familiarize yourself with these different love styles. And when you are out there dating, you can begin to pick up and see what love style a potential partner is. And like I said before, I definitely say avoid the mania. That would definitely not lead to, I think, the type of relationship that anybody was ideally looking for. And then if you're looking for a long-term relationship or marriage situation, someone who's a ludos, and if you talk to them and they find out, well, none of their relationships have lasted more than a month, and, they have a lot of different, partners at the same time, that's definitely a ludos. And, unless they are willing to change and want to change, then that's probably going to be a continued pattern. So that would be someone to avoid if you are looking for a long-term committed relationship. So in terms of which love style is going to work best for you, if you are an Eros, then usually someone who has Eros as a dominant love style, or Eros and something else as a dominant love style, that's going to work for you better, because it's kind of like you're talking the same language. So you're going to be passionate about them and feel a lot of chemistry, and if they feel the chemistry and passion back, then that's a great thing. But if they seem very low in terms of passion and chemistry, that's going to be kind of confusing and be kind of a mixed signal for you. So in the long run, it's better to have someone who is the same love style, or, at least has two dominant love styles and one of them is the same as yours. And, these are a really good way to understand love better, understand how a person is conceptualizing love, and then the behaviors associated with that concept of love. And it takes a lot of the confusion out of it, because it's really giving you a blueprint of the 6 ways that people do think about romantic love.
It's interesting. What got you interested in this study, this field of study, and what appealed to you here?
Well, I was very interested in relationships and how people got together and why they chose the partner they did. Originally, I was studying divorce, but that got very depressing.
Mm-hmm.
And so after about 6 months, I changed it to study the beginning of relationships, which was a lot more uplifting and, juicy for me and interesting. So studying the psychology of romantic love, it just gave me something I was fascinated by, and gave me a lot of good information and knowledge about this area. And, it's been something that, is great for educating people in what I do as a relationships coach, because it can be very confusing out there, and having knowledge and information, like in any area of one's life, is wonderful and really gives you the upper hand, so to speak, because you're not going out there kind of just kind of fumbling around. You're going out there and you have a knowledge of how things work, which definitely is very handy.
Mhm. Yeah, that's for sure. So, Dr. Kate Ferrick, if you can leave us with one final thought about the love styles and how people might apply them, what would that be?
I would say familiarize yourself with the 6 love styles, and when you're out there dating, begin to look at people, and you can even look at your friends just to familiarize yourself more with the styles. So look at the people around you, your friends, and start to see what love style they are, and that'll get into your head, what the characteristics are of the 6 love styles. And so when you're out there in the field, just keep in mind what these love styles are, and, definitely, like I said, be aware of the mania love style and the ludos. And like Sandy was saying, if you find yourself towards the mania or ludos category yourself, then I'd say, and you do want to change, then, go about that and do some self-help work and work on yourself, and you can find yourself in a better place with the way you're relating to and acting out romantic love.
Beautiful. Thank you. And just give out your website and the best way for people to reach you.
Yes, my website is joyfilledrelationships.com, and if they would like to contact me, there's a contact form on my website.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Kate Ferrick, for being on the show today, and keep doing that great work you're doing.
Thank you, Sandy, and you too.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for listening today, and I hope you go on your last first date very soon. Have a great day.